Welcome to World Classic Cars. Imagine this. It is 1961 and a car pulls into a motor show in Geneva, Switzerland. The room goes quiet. People stop walking. Some of them just stare. One man, one of the most famous car designers in the world, walks over, looks at it carefully, and says out loud in front of everyone that this is the most beautiful car ever made. That man was Enzo Ferrari, the founder of Ferrari, and the car that stopped him in his tracks was a British machine, long, low, and almost unbelievably graceful. It was the Jaguar E-Type. And today, more than 60 years later, that same car still sells for over $300,000. Some of the most special versions go for much more than that. So what made this car so extraordinary? Why did it capture the world's attention so completely? And why does it still do so today? That is exactly what we're going to find out. If you're new here, welcome to World Classic Cars, the channel where we bring the greatest cars in history to life. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next video. We have a lot more great cars coming your way, and you do not want to miss them. Now, let us talk about the Jaguar E-Type. To understand why the E-Type was such a big deal, we need to go back to the late 1950s. The world was changing fast. Rock and roll was everywhere. Space exploration had just begun. People were dreaming bigger, moving faster, and wanting things that felt exciting and new. The car industry was no different. Manufacturers across Europe and America were pushing design and engineering to the absolute limit, trying to build the next great machine. Jaguar was a British car company with a serious reputation. They had already proven themselves on the racing circuit with the legendary C-Type and D-Type, which had won the famous Le Mans 24-hour race multiple times. They knew how to build fast cars. But in 1961, they decided to do something different. They decided to take all of that racing knowledge, all of that engineering talent, and put it into a car that anyone with a decent amount of money, could drive on the road every single day. The car was unveiled at the Geneva Motor Show in March 1961, and it caused an immediate sensation. Journalists ran out of words trying to describe it. The waiting lists at dealerships filled up almost instantly. It came in two versions at launch, a coupe, which had a fixed roof, and a roadster, which was an open-top convertible. Both of them were stunning in their own way. The coupe had a particularly dramatic shape, with a long glass rear window that swept down into the back of the car, like something you might see in a science fiction film. The roadster, with its top down on a sunny day, looked like pure freedom. The starting price in the United Kingdom was around £2,000. That was not cheap. It was a serious amount of money in 1961. But here's the thing that really made people's jaws drop. For that price, you were getting a car that could keep up with, and in many cases beat, machines that cost 2 or 3 times as much. The Ferrari 250 GT, which was one of the most respected sports cars of the era, cost around £5,000. The Aston Martin DB4 was similarly expensive. The E-Type was almost half the price, and it was faster than both of them. That was remarkable. That was almost unheard of. Let's talk about what was under the hood, because this is where the E-Type really showed what it could do. The original E-Type, what we call the Series 1, came with a straight 6. Now, if you're not a car person, a straight 6 just means the engine has 6 cylinders all lined up in a row. It's a very smooth, refined layout, and Jaguar had been perfecting their version of it for years. This particular engine had a displacement of 3.8 liters, which is basically how much space the cylinders take up inside the engine. The bigger the number, the more air and fuel can be pushed through, and generally, the more power you get. This engine produced around 265 horsepower. Again, if that number doesn't mean much to you, here's a simple way to think about it. A typical family car today has somewhere between 100 and 150 horsepower, so this engine had almost double that. In 1961, that was a lot. That was genuinely a lot. The result was performance that shocked people at the time. Jaguar claimed the E-Type could go from 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, that's 0 to 60 miles per hour, in around 7 seconds, and it could reach a top speed of around 240 kilometers per hour, which is about 150 miles per hour. In 1961, that was supercar territory. That was the kind of speed most people had never experienced in a road car. Now, it's worth mentioning that some of those exact numbers have been debated over the years. Some tests suggested the car was slightly slower than Jaguar officially claimed. But here's the thing. Even if you subtract a little bit from those numbers, the E-Type was still blazingly fast. It was still faster than almost anything else a regular person could buy. And on long, open roads, or even just on a tight, winding country lane, it was completely thrilling to drive. In 1964, Jaguar updated the engine. They enlarged it slightly to 4.2 liters, keeping a similar power output, but improving the torque, which is basically the pulling force of the engine, the strength that you feel when you press the accelerator and the car pushes you back in your seat. The 4.2 was generally considered a better car to drive because of this improvement. It felt more responsive, more alive under your foot. Then, in 1971, Jaguar made a bigger change. They introduced the Series 3 E-Type, which came with a brand new engine, a 5.3-liter V12. A V12 has 12 cylinders arranged in 2 rows of 6 that form a V shape. It's one of the most refined and powerful engine configurations ever made. The sound of a V12 is unforgettable, smooth, deep, and almost musical. This new engine produced around 272 horsepower, and it gave the Series 3 a sense of effortless power that made it feel completely different from the earlier cars. Now, let's talk about the thing that may matter most when it comes to the E-Type, the way it looks. There are some cars in history that are technically impressive, but visually forgettable. The E-Type is the opposite. It's one of those rare machines that makes you stop whatever you're doing and simply look at it. It has what designers call presence, the quality of filling a space and demanding your attention. The shape of the E-Type was heavily influenced by the racing cars that Jaguar had been building through the 1950s. The chief aerodynamicist at Jaguar was a man named Malcolm Sayer, and he approached car design like an engineer and an artist at the same time. He used mathematics and airflow principles to create curves that were not just beautiful to look at, they actually helped the car cut through the air more efficiently. The body was not just styled for show, it was shaped for purpose. And the wonderful thing is that both of those goals ended up producing the same result, something that looked completely spectacular. The front of the car is long and low, with a smooth, oval-shaped grille and a bonnet, that's the hood, that seems to stretch on forever. The headlights on the original Series 1 cars were covered by small glass bubbles, which gave the front a clean, uninterrupted look that was unlike anything else on the road. The side profile is where the design really sings, a long, sweeping line from the front wheels all the way back, with 2 subtle bulges over the rear wheel arches that give the car a sense of muscle without being aggressive or shouty about it. The original color options for the E-Type included classic British racing green, a deep red, a rich silver, and later a cream white that looked absolutely wonderful against the chrome details. The interior was simple and purposeful: leather seats, wooden steering wheel, a dashboard full of round gauges that made the driver feel like they were sitting inside something very serious and very special. The coupe version had a particularly famous design feature, that long, tapering fastback roofline with the oval rear window. When you see it from the rear three-quarter angle, it looks almost like a teardrop. It's one of the most copied shapes in automotive history. Designers all over the world have admitted borrowing elements of the E-Type for their own work. In 1996, the Museum of Modern Art in New York one of the most respected art institutions in the world, added a Jaguar E-Type to its permanent collection, not as a transport exhibit, as a work of art. That says everything you need to know about how this car is regarded. The story of the E-Type is not just about speed and design, it's also about the world it came into and the role it played in one of the most exciting decades of the 20th century. When the E-Type launched in 1961, it arrived right at the beginning of what people now call the swinging 60s, that explosion of culture, fashion, music, and social change that centered in London and then spread around the world. Britain was suddenly the coolest place on earth. The Beatles were recording, Mary Quant was designing miniskirts, and on the streets of London, the E-Type became the car you drove if you were young, successful, and wanted to show it.